What's going on, guys? So today is December 4th. The VGC 2020 rule set has been announced, and honestly, I'm so excited. So one thing that we've been noticing since we've been playing ranked doubles on stream, especially once you make it up towards master rank, the meta itself is extremely physical. There's not a lot of defensive options, I think. Sure, you still have Ferrothorn and, you know, all those setup mons or stall mons that you might have. But I think that the meta is going to be very hyper aggressive. It's very physical. A lot of the Pokemon in the game are very physical. And I think that this has something to do with the time now that I started looking at it. So let's look at these rule sets real quick. The double battles, they are Galar decks, obviously, because what else do we have? Legendary Pokemon, obviously, are not going to be allowed. Mew's not going to be allowed. You have a 90-second team preview. I'm not really worried about that. Your time is 7 minutes. That's not a lot of time. Move seconds is 45 seconds. So they're really pushing decisions. Like, you have to make quick, fast decisions. Which, I mean, takes some getting used to, I think. I know it's timed me out quite a few times, especially in ranked. And yeah, kind of get screwed. And then a 15-minute game time. So, like, that is just, it's not a lot of time compared to what we're used to. So you really have to make these fast decisions. You really have to have a physical team, like a hyper-aggressive team. It doesn't have to be physical, but you know what I mean. Like, you have to be able to put down, you have to get your setup quick. You know, you have to really move on the field. And that is something that I think that they're trying to accomplish, you know, to try to maybe help further these events or, you know, include more people. Excuse me. Gigantamax Pokemon are allowed. So at first, I thought that Gigantamax Pokemon were not going to be allowed. To be honest with you, Gmax Pokemon are insanely broken. Like, some of them, like, let's take Gmax Grimmsnarl, for example, which is something that I'm looking forward to using. But it's Gmax Snooze. It's, what is it? 130. Okay, so I'm sorry. But it basically, the user lets out a huge yawn. Okay, and it hits both of the targets. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. Yawn is a fantastic move. It hasn't really seen a lot of VGC competitive use because it's not always reliable, you know. And I don't think that it puts your opponent in a spot where, like, they have to make the decision on whether or not to switch out or to stay in, and whatever stays in or switches out is going to get hit. So it's a really good move. So yeah, so that's really cool. Let's go back here. So some of the Gmax Pokemon I think that you're definitely going to have to look out for are definitely Gmax Butterfree. We already kind of saw this coming. Befuddle is actually a stupid good move. So Befuddle is a bug type move. It's 120 base power, it's physical, and 130 on the special side, but it inflicts poison, paralyze, and sleeps on opponent. So it's insane. Yeah, the fact that you can get 2 status moves down in one turn is just ridiculous. And obviously you don't know what it is, but one of those could be very, very devastating to your strategy. You know, like, say you're running a fastball and it gets paralyzed. It's just like, that's really, really bad. So this is going to be a very good Pokemon to kind of look out for. And the reason why I say that, I think, honestly, the thing that I'm scared of the most in terms of Butterfree is it has Rage Powder. Rage Powder is a move that has been used for a very long time. A lot of you might know it from Amoonguss. Rage Powder is obviously a move drawing move, okay? Obviously with Pokemon like Duraludon, you get to ignore a move like that, but Rage Powder is a really good move, okay? It gets access to your Tailwind setup. It has the option of being a support mon and a Gmax Pokemon, and it's crazy. It has Compound Eyes. It now gets access to a Hurricane, I believe, which is disgustingly terrifying. Yeah, it gets access to Hurricane. So a Pokemon like this is just like, it's ridiculous. I don't know how much use it will get though, because it does have that 4 times weakness to rock. But however, like when you have a 4 times weakness, it's pretty easy to dodge because you know, as time goes on, like what is being run on specific Pokemon, and you kind of like build up the mindset of, you know, the current meta and physical attackers and whatnot. Snorlax. So Snorlax, I kind of mentioned this in my other video about Gmax Snorlax, but Gmax Snorlax under Trick Room with Belly Drum, Gmax Replenish is going to be a very, very good ability. I mean, move to have or Pokemon to use in the Trick Room setting, especially with, you know, Pokemon like Mimikyu and you know, Hatterene, maybe even like the Psychic Surge Follow Me to guarantee the Belly Drum setup. It's just going to be a ridiculously hard Pokemon to slow down because it does have this move that means you get to take away the recycle, okay, from your move slot, which is crazy. I mean, 150 physical and special with Belly Drum is like, that's a sweep. Like, that's a GG. You're outie clam chowdy. That's it. So yeah, so it's a really, really cool mon. You know, when you use a Pokemon like this, obviously it does get access to some other really cool moves like High Horsepower, Darkest Lariat, which is a little interesting, Heat Crash, which I've kind of seen already in doubles and stuff like that, Body Press, which is a really cool move as well, you know, Heavy Slam, Iron Head. You have some really, really hard hitting moves, and with the fact that max moves give you additional side effects, you know, getting those defense boosts, getting the attack boosts, even if you are not running Belly Drum, you know, it's going to be a very hard Pokemon to slow down. So, you know, keeping in mind, you know, as I said before in the other video, you do want to go for that Gluttony ability if you want to use that. Pinch Berries, however, have been nerfed quite a bit. They were nerfed to 33.3% of max HP, so that's something to keep in mind when you are thinking about building a Gluttony ability Trick Room Snorlax. So anyways, but obviously this Pokemon's always up for interpretation. You can run whatever you want. This one, so Sandaconda is the reason why I wanted to put Sandaconda in this video. So I'm sorry, Allstate, you don't pay me. But anyway, so the reason why I wanted to put Sandaconda in this video, so Sandaconda is a pretty interesting Pokemon. If we look at its stats here, it's got relatively good attack, okay, some pretty good defense, and a decent special defense, and a decent speed. Yeah, I mean, you could probably try to run some sort of, I don't know, like Careful Nature or something like that for a bulky set. But the thing that makes this really cool, okay, so you do get access to Raging the Sandstorm ability, which is basically Sandstorm, not Sandstorm, what is it? Sand Tomb. So that essentially just locks you into that move, correct? For that 5 turns. The thing that makes, in my opinion, Sandaconda a very scary Pokemon is the fact that it gets access to Sandvale. So I don't know if any of you guys remember, or if any of you guys played back in the early days, but there was a set that was running around, and it was like one of the most terrifying sets, I think, in the competitive Pokemon scene. But it was the T-Tar, Sandvale, Bright Powder, Garchomp. And yeah, it's, dude, that set. Yeah, it's a really, really scary Pokemon to have to go up against. It's a very, very difficult Pokemon to hit, and I think with Sandvale and setting up a T-Tar, and because I know T-Tar is probably going to make its way into the main circuit of meta, I mean, how could you not expect it to? But this is definitely a set that's going to be really dangerous, especially pairing with Excadrill on the back to get that speed boost. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. So yeah, so maintaining that sand weather is going to be, you know, crucial in order to run a team like this, you know, so you need to maintain your sand. Obviously, like if somebody's going to switch in on you or go for some sort of move, it's going to reset the weather settings. So you need to have something to back that up. Yeah, you got to have something to back that up for that Bright Powder Sandvale ability to work. But I think having that is actually, I think it's a viable option. You know, I think it's a very viable option in terms of that. But that set was crazy. Garchomp T-Tar, I hope to never face that ever again because it's ridiculously annoying and it just completely decimates you. Another Pokemon that I thought was pretty interesting, the Swift Swim. Okay, dragons. So another Pokemon I thought was really interesting, and there's kind of two different ways that you could run this. One of them is a little bit arguably better, but I think Swift Swim is better, to be honest with you. So doubling speed, as we've seen with Ludicolo, can be really, really fast. And it can be a really hard-hitting, fast Pokemon. I mean, you're going to get up to 148 base speed, which is going to be outspeeding base 142 Dragapult. I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. So that's really cool. It's got a really good attack, K115, that's pretty decent. Special attack is pretty garbage. Special defense is also pretty garbage. So if you're going to run this, maybe run the Assault Vest to kind of help coverage your grass type mons. Serena, I have seen quite a bit in ranked doubles, not gonna lie. And that can be a scary Pokemon for this, okay? But obviously, like, keeping your coverage down and stuff like that. It does get access to Stone Surge. This scatters sharp rocks around the field. So this is a really cool ability in the sense that you're basically setting stealth rocks, okay? So all these Pokemon that are going to be coming in, especially like if you run into a Charizard team or any sort of Pokemon, maybe like Braviary, something like that, you're going to take massive damage from rocks. And that's something that we haven't really quite seen in the doubles format. Obviously, singles format, it's pretty much ran on every team. It's crucial. But, in the doubles format, it hasn't really been quite popular. But this is like massive chip damage that I think that people are going to start taking a liking to. And that's really cool. So overall, pretty basic HP. It's pretty decent. If you were going to run this, like I said, maybe look into the Assault Vest. So a Swift Swim Assault Vest set would be pretty cool. I mean, that would leave you pretty well covered, I think, especially if you're going to run a support mon like Grimmsnarl with screens, all that other stuff. So I think there's definitely a possibility for this Pokemon. One thing that I did want to talk about though is Strongjaw. So Strongjaw increases biting moves by 50%. This Pokemon, however, only really has three basically biting moves. Okay, it's got access to Crunch. Obviously you have Bite, which obviously you should just run Crunch instead. Jaw Lock is actually a new move. This prevents the user from switching out until either of them faints. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool ability. I mean, it essentially works like, obviously you have to hit the Pokemon, but, with Swift Swim, that could work out. Like you could trap a Pokemon and just completely keep it on the field and keep your opponent from possibly switching out its Intimidators and keep recycling in. So that's really cool. And then it also gets access to Ice Fang, which is cool for grass type coverage if you're going to be running that Strongjaw set. Like, it can work out, I think it would be really cool. It's going to be 90 base power, but without stab. I'm sorry, 92.5. Whatever. So that's a really cool option. It could flinch or leave it frozen. I wouldn't bank on the freezing though. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you have the possibility, but I would bank more on the flinch than I would the freeze. So these Pokemon are going to be really, really cool. I think that Gmaxes are going to be pretty centralizing, just as we saw with Megastones. Kangaskhan is a thing of nightmares, honestly. So we're going to see a lot of these Pokemon be running around teams. Now, I don't want these Pokemon to discourage you from, coming up with your own creative sets in terms of the overall standing of the Pokemon in this game. Okay, we've got a really highly offensive meta. You can pretty much come up with whatever set you want. You don't even have to run a Gmax Pokemon if you don't want to. You can run it as like the Butterfree, as I mentioned before, as a support mon, and just in case you need it, you can just whip that boy out. But I think it's going to be a really cool series. This 2020 is going to be very, very interesting. I'm excited to see and hear about all of the teams that you guys you know, come up with. If you guys would like more in-depth guides in terms of team building, it's not something I've done before. I'm not going to say I'm like the best player in the world, but I definitely want to learn, and I'm putting myself out there to become a better player and to become a part of the VGC competitive scene, and even singles too. Like as I said before in a recent video, you know, when I think about Pokemon, like, I love battling. You know, I love playing competitive Pokemon. It's just so much fun for me. You know, the thrill and the excitement and the adrenaline that comes from, you know, winning or a close match or something like that. I honestly just can't get enough of it. So yeah, so anyways, if you would like videos like this, more in depth on these Pokemon, I can totally do that. Just let me know in the comment section down below. And then also, you know, if you come up with some interesting idea or something, leave it in the comment section below. We're all here to learn. Yeah, like, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm sure that there's like some crazy set out there that could win you a regional or something like that. So but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We do stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. We mainly play competitive Pokemon. Every now and then we'll do some shiny hunts. But if you found this video useful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to hearing from you. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye. Is that weird? Should I do that? Okay, bye.